The question is, are you ready for the news that's not for everybody? Hidden insanity going on in our reality. So welcome back to the channel, all walks of life. You gotta love the 80s music. 80s baby here. Still alive and keeping it crystal clear. Well, a little bit of peripheral issues along the way, but hey, you get what you get here at the Visual Disturbance. I want to welcome you all to the channel, and we're going to get into this news that's not for everybody. Let's talk about missing scientists, nukes that's not working, and the madness upon the global panic realm, and then all these hidden truths and all these different things with, let's just say, conspiracy rabbit holes that we're going to go down today on the news that's not for everybody. So again, give a big old shout out there for all folks. Big shout out to all you guys. Hit the like button, share this thing out, because we're going to jump down the rabbit hole today. A lot of speculative stuff along this ride today on this live broadcast. So thank you all so very much. Let's go ahead and jump into the rabbit hole, because we got a long ways to go. We really do. So thank you all so very much. Let's go ahead before we get into the topic of the scientist, the missing link, the missing folks from, let's just say, some spiritual applications. Let's go ahead and jump down the rabbit hole. One of the favorite topics, if it's not Nephilim, it's the UFO phenomenon. So this one really got me. Let's go ahead and start off with the bang here. The news is not for everybody. This just came back in the spotlight. Might as well. Everything else is coming in the spotlight when it comes to this phenomenon. You know, the phenomenon with the alien agenda. We got people out there in the higher powers that know something more than we do, apparently. But according to this image here, this is a depiction of a famous 19th century UFO account known as the Alexander Hamilton airship encounter from April 1897. According to the story, a Kansas farmer claimed to have witnessed a large, cigar-shaped airship piloted by strange beings. Could you imagine? Well, it's kind of ironic to me that you see and hear this Skinwalker Ranch accounts back in the 90s. Or you'll hear about it in government documents talking about cylinder-shaped objects. You'll hear about it in the other times of the ancient days of the biblical narrative and other extra-biblical texts. And it's ironic to me that you have flying roll in Zechariah 5 in the biblical narrative. Go check that out. And you can talk about the ephahs and the orphanas and the things in the book of Enoch. But it's kind of strange because I know a guy that written a book. I'm going to give him a shout out, Tyler Gilriff, that wrote a book, a really pretty cool book about Liberty Code, talking about the, let's just say, the powers that be back in the 1700s, talking about things in the sky when it comes to certain higher powers. So, very interesting. Very interesting I want to interview him again, and we're going to talk about these cylinder-shaped objects. But it kind of makes me think, you know, is this all just human flawed in these stories, you know, because there used to be big airships, you know, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Anybody out there a big fan of that? The big airship, big hot air balloon. Is there some kind of issue where people are not, you know, let's just say, having false memories or false claims, or legitimately is this a depiction of some kind of UFO with strange beings coming out of it? What's your take? Well, speaking of the 1800s, and the more I look into this and I think about it, and the critical thinking, logic thinking that I think about every time I go live and anything that I've ever read, let's just face the facts, okay? We got individuals or entities or something that's creepy crawling through the airwaves that's causing disruptions. And I'm just going to be saying it right here, hillbilly talk, and like I said at the beginning of the program, my jaw, or maybe I didn't say it, but my jaw is about to lock up today. I've been having some issues with that the last few days, about the last week actually, so it doesn't help my Boomhauer accent, you know, hint, hint, from King of the Hill TV series, but then my Kentucky accent does not help at all. But hey, got to be joyful, got to be enduring and overcoming even the obstacles that I have to go through. So if I see a big old cylinder-shaped object, well, wait, matter of fact, I did. If y'all go back and look at some of the programs I've done in the past here on the channel, I called it Backyard, I think, Anomalies. And I was picking out with GoPro night vision, just simply taking the camera, pointing it up, and not even focusing on anything. Just kept taking flashes of the sky, clear day, all that. And I seen some cylinder-shaped object in the sky over here in the good old state of Kentucky. So I guess they seen me down there and said, he's an inferior. He's not knowledgeable like we are. Shoo, peasant. We can't grant you with the light rays here. I'm being a little bit of low below the belt there. I shouldn't have been so more goofy on here. Did I say so more? Yeah, so more. But yeah, folks, welcome to Visual Disturbance, because I'm visually disturbed here, and especially with the depiction of somebody hanging from something, or it's like a light beam taking some, and they're snagging up the cattle on one side, and that's why I looked at some, let's just say, Freedom of Information Act documentation talking about cattle mutilations and human interference in some shape or form to do a dental work. Imagine that. But yeah, kind of ironic that the 19th century, just the more I look at this live right now on the screen, tagging a cow and grabbing some folks. Look out, because the cigar might just float. I don't know where that came from, but welcome to the channel. I gotta laugh, folks, because it's if my humor doesn't come out in the programs, because this stuff is so beyond the pay grade of our reality, and people go around worshiping these things, and I'm over here going, Captain, it's sink the battleship. You know what I'm saying? I was about to do an impression of a cigar, but forgive me, I'm going off the rabbit trail here. But what was so telling about this, and talking about this 19th century, and this is the reason why I bring this up with the UFO phenomenon. Throughout ancient days, throughout antiquity, we can go back to the Younger Dryas event. You can call it the pre-Adamite world, the pre-Adamic, the antediluvian, way before Noah. We can go back and talk about the Nephilim kings all you want. We can go back and talk about antiquity, the days before Adam even walked in the garden. We can go down these huge rabbit holes, and we are tonight. But when I think about people that are higher up, okay, and they're telling you a story, okay, they're telling you information, just like this individual here. So we have the 1890s, a depiction of these cylinder-shaped objects abducting people, whatever the depiction is. Or maybe just those are airships with the immaculate complex restaurant from 2026 as a time travel cigar. There's humor plugged in. But this just dropped today. I'm going to say Mr. Andy, just to watch what I say here, because for some reason, when I mention the full names, it gets cut down every time. So Mr. Andy says he has seen UFO evidence so classified that just knowing it exists makes you a target. Well, like I said, there's been more disclosure or disclosed documentation. I'm not tooting my horn. There's a lot of really good UFO researchers out there that have done a real better job than this good old Kentucky boy. But I have, let's just say, spit out and disclose some documents on here on the channel that not everybody knows about. And I guess if you look at the mistranslation of this reality, and everybody's thinking there's some new knowledge, but it's kind of ironic that these individuals don't read their documentation. But I'm not saying anything about Andy, but he must know something about the let's just say the wormholes and the let's just say the black goo, and maybe something to do with the flesh and the physical forms, and maybe something tied back to the Adam and Eve story, or the whole narrative with the biblical narrative. What if? And that's not even a what if program tonight, but it makes you think. So what does he know? This is an individual just come out and said this about this classifying information that's classified. It would literally makes you a target. So I guess the more they reveal, the more people see. I guess you shouldn't be watching no more TV. I guess. I don't know, because where do you get your information from? You know what I mean? Where do you get your information from? So has these things, these let's just say these individuals, these higher-ups, these ones that's in power, do they know something of the ancient days? I think they do. And let's look at something here, some old footage here from Alex Collier. I wanted to incorporate this in the program because I thought it was very interesting what he had to say. So check this out. Pretty interesting stuff. It's about 5 minutes long. We're going to comment on it. Pretty crazy. Let's see what he has to say.
Just because they fly around in these really awesome spaceships doesn't mean they come from an unconditional love space. We will all be awed by the technology. Do not be awed by the beings that are flying it. Do not. They're absolutely no better than you. They're just not. Because as souls, we were all created at the same time. We're just on different levels on an evolutionary scale in the physical. But on a soul level, we're all the same. Okay, that's important, please, because in the next 5 years, you're going to have absolute proof. Any questions so far?
How does our government line up with each one of these groups?
Excellent question. Okay. Our government, well, let me start with World War II. Actually, we'll start in the 1930s.
Worldwide government.
Okay, the world government. Okay, there is a world government. It controls all of our lives through the media, militarily, and of course, the big thing, money. Because they've got us all believing we have to have money to survive. Okay? And that's a belief system. You gotta have money to survive. It's a belief system. But we're all there. We're all in it. We're all participating in that belief system. Okay, you've got essentially the Draconians.
Wake up, Neo. Wake up. Before we continue this video, it's going to be a long one today, so get you a cup of coffee and smile and some popcorn. But Betty Blevins, excuse me. Thank you so very much for the super chat. Bless you. We're in it to win it. We're going to crank it up, visual disturbance style today. But hey, did you just hear what Mr. Alex had to say? Talking about these beings that were made on the same level of soul, this resonance. And then, you're getting into the universal stance and the, let's just say, going even a more bigger paradigm about the universal stance of the souls and the Galactic Federation and this whole massive universe that's way beyond our pay grade. But the more I'm sitting there listening to what he's saying, I'm listening and I'm focusing on what entities or individuals could put us in bondage to something that goes back to ancient days, like I alluded to earlier with the Adam and Eve. Something was in the garden. We're going to talk about this something here in a minute, but it's strange, very strange. So let's just see what he has to say. Let's get it more into it.
I'll just put Drax for short. Believe that this planet, this solar system belongs to them because they were the first to chart it. They also believe that because they were the first to chart our planet, that they own the planet and everything else on it. Which right now is us. Underneath them is the Orions. They do the dirty work for the Drax. There is a hierarchy. Just like in any government, there's a hierarchy. Even the dark forces are organized in a hierarchy, in a hierarchical government. Underneath them are many different groups, but we'll deal specifically with the Greys because that's what we're dealing with. The Greys were the first to make contact with our government.
We've revealed that several times here on the channel, talking about the full body teleportation transfer, talking about a device they created. The Greys, the Grey Decree back there in Eisenhower, speaking about interbreeding and hybridization programs. The Greys, right? Everybody's always talking about the little gray aliens or the tall Greys. But according to the account, like we talked about just recently, there's a government, there's a hybridization program out there that's forcefully taking people and they're interbreeding with these entities. And it all ties back to the Greys, which is the ant people, the Manikuabu, whatever you want to refer to them as. We're talking about creepy crawlers coming and taking your old family into the gates of hell. Let's just say Sheol, or the Lockas of the Talas. And I think that's what Mr. Alex is referring to. We've intercepted a signal, no, to the ETs. And ET's phoning home, all right, in the 80s. But hey, I mean, that's why Steven Spielberg is making a new film with the UFO disclosure situation. So maybe he knows more and he's more, let's just say, got the inside knowledge. Let's just say that. But let's just keep on hearing what Mr. Alex had to say, because this gray thing, this Grey Decree, this Grey forcefully interbreeding with us, very interesting. And I have my speculation on what the Greys are.
Our government. However, the Greys in 1931 also made contact, before they made contact with our government, with the Germans, with the Nazis. But the Germans told them, go away. We're already in contact with extraterrestrials. And those extraterrestrials were the Gizan intelligence. Does everybody know who they are? They were a renegade group of Pleiadians who believed in the Aryan philosophy, of which that's most of our lineages, the white race.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Shoo. We have too much knowledge. We're already in contact with the gray entities. And then you got the Pleiadians, the Draconians, the Atlanteans of old, the Lemurian folks coming out through the Stargate, floating island above the Atlantis. I mean, folks, how much more? And then they talk about this ancient, dominant white race, which blows my mind because I can look into, let's just say, things out on the east of the continents and things on this western continent in the USA. There was something about a dominant white race of folks. They was tall. They interconnected somehow, shape or form, gave in the Native American culture some type of knowledge, the arts, to be able to articulate different languages, sun god worship, you name it. They was teaching them how to do things. And it kind of makes you think, you shake your head, you're thinking, okay, the book of Enoch is screaming off the pages here. The book of Enoch is screaming off the pages. The Watchers taught mankind all these different things with metallurgy. So I guess they extended out and got involved with the Phoenicians folks and started doing longitude, latitude, and then hovering over here somehow or shape or form. And then you got the Olmecs over here in the western side, over here in America. You have an ancient that I think that is tied back to the Nubian folks of ancient Egypt, and it's setting up shop here in our lovely America. And according to those counts, there was autonomous vehicles and levitation vehicles and things that the Olmecs was superior over and dominating over. So it makes you wonder. And that, if you look into the Nubian culture, so there's a lot more red skin, brown skin, darker skinned with that crew. But then you look at this, what Alex is talking about. Is this the interbreeding? Is there something so more nefarious that it's just so beyond our pay grade? And this is where all this great battles come from, where humanity is just fighting each other over something that the angels taught us to literally destroy ourselves. That's where I'm at. And I think this is where a lot of things get tied into, because a lot of folks out there just want to live peaceful lives, right? It doesn't matter what skin color you have or what nationality you have. You just want to live a peaceful life. And I always say this on the channel, be a better human. Love one another. Love thy neighbor as thyself. We just talked about that recently. You could probably see a big change in the paradigm of reality. Because guess what? I've got all those different races. All those different, I'm not saying the alien races, but I got all those different types of nationalities in my bloodline. Yes. And it makes you wonder, where are we at? And what's really going on in reality. A lot of weird things, indeed. A lot of weird things. Let's just continue on listening to this, because this is very interesting.
Being superior to all the others. Okay, that's where that was born out of. Yeah. Okay, extraterrestrial. That's where it came from. Everything we virtually know about ourselves, we've been taught. We copied the gods. The mythological gods, the gods of Egypt, the gods of Sumeria, the gods of Babylon, the gods of Atlantis. We just emulated them. We're great copiers. And we saw how they treated each other and how they treated us. And we've just emulated it and passed it on, legacy after legacy. So we just continue to pass it on. And now we're at a point where we're either going to destroy ourselves or we're going to evolve. We've literally put ourselves right here in the corner. Literally, as a planetary race. Okay, now, the Pleiadians, to their credit, got rid of Gizan intelligence. But they were not in a position to get rid of the Greys. And the reason they were not in a position to get rid of the Greys is because a group within our government signed a treaty. So the researchers who did this, who have come up with this information, are to be congratulated for for the research that they've done. Okay? Much of this information I've been able to collaborate and say, yes, they said, yes, it's true, or no, it's not, it's this information. Okay? And I help to fill in the gaps, but I don't have all the answers either. Now, everybody follow me to this point. Okay. The Roswell crash did in fact occur. Wasn't the only one. There have been many all over North America and Canada. A lot of them you haven't heard anything about.
And here we are. Here we are. Well, he just talked about, he's referring to them even in past tense and future, because they keep on happening here in Canada and America. It's ironic, right? That this time frame of 1947 Roswell, then after that, even up to modern day time, we've had these things. Well, when I go down the conspiracy rabbit trail in my mind and cognitively sit back and think about the whole perspective, okay, I think about the narrative of these entities, like the first image I showed during this program with this cylinder-shaped object taking people and taking their cows. So if you go back and look, in the Native American culture, they spoke about these great large entities that would come, and they claimed them to be great tall Indians and take their women and children. So it's like the same abduction state, same narrative. We can get into shapeshifters, we can get into giants of the Nephilim all we want to, we can get into cryptid creatures, same narrative. So what he's referring to here, Mr. Alex, is this white race. And guess what? It's not even related to white Caucasian. This is talking about an entity or some great tall creature that looked human, and either the Palladians, and I even looked into it more, that there could be a whole nother race of folks, and you're looking at fallen angelic powers or flesh-altering hybridization program. 8-foot tall, white, skinny, slender individuals teaching the Native American culture, and even the folks of old, these other continents of folks. So it makes you wonder where we really are. How much more can we just look through it through a foggy glass and never ask questions? I would have to disagree with a lot of things Mr. Alex talks about here. But when it comes to the understanding of the hierarchy, this level of angels and demons and UFOs and humans and hybrid humans, I mean, we can go down all these categorizations of factions of folks, okay? So when I'm sitting here listening to what he's saying, I understand what he's talking about, and that goes back to ancient days, like he's referring to Atlantis and all these other these continents and civilizations, and talking about this grays always mixing and interbreeding. Don't you think it's interesting the Stargate SG-1 program is always looking toward the grays? They use terms like when you look at Valhalla and Argotha, and they even, I mean, there's so many things that the Stargate episodes reveal. It's unbelievably, it's uncanny, really. You can't even really put a number on how much that show is literally infested with documentarial stance. Probably more real in that than any other TV series besides the X-Files when it comes to the paranormal activity. But you look at the Stargate and they talk about the grays, and they're looking into the grays. And their grays are trying to survive because their flesh and their android bodies, all these different things. It's incorporated into these FOIA documents talking about the things that are actually in the UFO and the ufology. So when I'm sitting there listening to this guy talk about all these different things, right? Talking about all these different applications, this great white race of beings. Well, what I keep saying, I've got books from the 1700s talking about the stories of the shamans and these great medicine men, these great chieftain of the tribes, talking about this 8-foot, 9-foot, 10-foot white race, this dominant white race. And in a lot of cases, they'll take their women and children for technology. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It's literally the same exact, and I keep saying literally, it's same exact situation that we got going on right now. And there's nothing new in the sun. People are like, oh yeah, there ain't nothing to that. Well, yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. There's definitely something to it. So here's something that's really got me thinking. Go back into the ones that are in the know, okay? Y'all know I've been talking about Mr. Tim for a long period of time, the congressman from let's just say Tennessee, man. Well, he just come out recently and talked about aliens are literally 100% factual, 100% real. And we are not alone after shocking briefings that would basically unglue America. So he's talking about the alphabet agencies and dropping the hammer. He uses a lot of terminology I do. His language is kind of like mine. If we ever had him on the show, wouldn't that be a hoot? The Kentucky and the Tennessean going at it and talking about the UFO phenomenon. But yeah, that'd be great if I could ever get him on the channel. It'd be a comedy. Well, it wouldn't be a comedy show. It'd be straight up from the Southern hospitality heart. But he's, Mr. Tim's talking about we are not alone, and he warns these classified files that they keep putting a lock and key on, that it would keep you up at night if they was released, and this country would literally come unglued. So it's weird. And he even said that this was back in March, said that it would set the earth on fire. And then you got the multiple insiders told him extraterrestrials visit on otherworldly craft and made direct contact with humans. Not U.S. tech, not human, period. And then Mr. T, he wants to, fully release months ago, the release of all of it. The cover-up is cracking. So it's kind of a weird situation that every time you see the Greys, more you do to see the Palladians or the lizard-like people. So you're probably like, well, Brian, get to the point. What's going on here? Like, why are we here? Well, this is. I had like this moment when I was putting all this together and looking at all the news articles and all these headlines. I'm thinking everything that I've ever talked about, spiritual applications, big 100%. But is it more than that? And you're probably like, how can it be more than that? Well, like Bob Lazar talks about, these aliens refer to us as containers. What if there's something more about the DNA and your soul, and it all collectively intertwined, interconnected, and they're trying to do something so beyond nefarious and deceitful? What is it? And why the big cover-up? Why such a big cover-up? Well, I think it's interesting to say that we have this huge influx in medication, huge influx in, the UFO phenomenon, and then there's claims of these new medicine. Let's just say this, and I'm going to throw it up here without, yes, I know it's just a little headline article here, but the word Atlantean keeps getting thrown into the mix. So when you go back to the 1770s, they was looking into making the new Atlantis. When you look into the whole thing, it goes down into some deep ties back to antiquity. And this great new place to let's just say reconstruct Atlantean or Atlantis, the days of old. So this one got me. They're talking about this Atlantean medicine that didn't use, pills or surgery. Patients were healed inside crystal domes using light and sound. Well, it's all about the frequencies, baby. You know what I mean? Well, when you look into light therapy and look into what they claim that they're able to do, even back to the ancient days, you go to Egypt and talking about the sarcophaguses, if you do a certain tone and harmonics, it has healing capabilities to some shape or form or degree. And here on News is Not For Everybody, not too long ago, we talked about the specific topic about light and certain frequencies that are patented for certain organs. And without anything invasive, you could heal, let's just say, the C word that's plaguing our society and making things back to whole. Something about molecularly structuring your cells and getting your healthy, bright red blood cells and making a difference into your body. And these things would rid it from light. So it's interesting when you think about the background, well, not really background, but when you think about the biblical narrative, talking about God spoke things into existence. Makes you wonder where we really are. So, speaking of just the other day, and this new technology is supposed to be revealed here in 2026, 2027, 2030, they're saying all this stuff is coming. I seen this very intriguing to me. It was very compelling to even incorporate into this program. Scientists suggest brain may be used as quantum vibrations to process information faster rather than electrical signals. Well, the Tibetan monks and all those cats from back in the day, they're not doing harmonics and doing chanting and everything for nothing. Okay, not knocking off on those individuals, but they're not up in those high mountains doing some ancient, let's just say, monk powers, and they're just not doing it just for fun and sitting out there in the cold weather. They're literally vibrating to a vibratory rate and communicating in some shape or form. So I'm just going to throw it out there. But the word quantum keeps throwing out there into our, let's just say, complex reality. Did you guys know a few days ago that quantum, literally, it was quantum day. I couldn't believe it. I was like, quantum day is upon us. Could you imagine? It's quantum day. Let's all pray to the quantum computers. Right? There's many quantum computers. Let's have a quantum day. You know? I mean, how much more insane can we, and how much more free will and how much more of a human capability can we give up? That's all I'm asking. It's kind of weird. Quantifiable, quantum understanding, informational faster, bandwidth, looking at, when you look at the technology we have for the internet waves, hello. Kind of the same signal, same situation, where we have signal, that kind of thing. Makes you wonder. Well, speaking of what makes you wonder in technologies, scientists discover the silence rejuvenates the brain. Speaking of lockjaw, I might need some of this light therapy. Bring on the Atlantean to heal Brian's eyes and his jaw. And his balance, too. But hello. I can't speak today. But regenerates the brain, being in complete silence for at least 2 hours a day. Can stimulate the creation of new brain cells, especially regions linked to memory and learning. And that's what I'm alluding to. Because the monks are tuning in some shape or form. I'm not saying we go out and do this type of stuff. I'm just saying in general, silence and peace and all these different things, they're literally doing something and creating more neural pathways to some shape or form or degree. So, quantum world, quantum reality, that physical wire out there that's got the transform on it, that's a governed restraint. Okay? That's something that puts a tab on it. Okay? Puts a subscription service on it. But we have more in the engine. Humans are more special than what the world portrays us out to be. They act like we are inferior or useless eaters. We have a soul created by the King, created by the one that created everything, the one and all, God, right? And people just don't, it's just some kind of disconnect. I don't know, but yeah. So those ancient folks of old and the monks and everybody else that's been the shamans, they knew how to tune in. They knew how to do things. They knew how to communicate. And like I said, they're communicating like the Great Decree. They're telling them they're intergalactically communicating because they have to do something to the brain, do something to the genetics, do something that frees up this pineal gland that God created. No joke. They're looking for folks. Strange times. I will not insert robot voice until later on during this program. Some people was cracking me up the other day when I was talking in a robot voice. So you're probably like, well, Brian, where are we going with this? Well, I'm going to throw something out here. Immortality. Immortality is what they're trying to achieve. Well, it just keeps on getting more headlines. Scientists say a protein found in whales could help humans live up to 200 years. And I hear this term all the time. I'm hearing 150. If you're 40 or plus years old, you will see a time where you will be 150 to 200 years, and there's nothing you can do about it. Humanity's getting an upgrade from the solar flash. Yeah, folks, I might come off as sarcastic. I'm going to give you all a little insight. I joke around. But when I wordplay things, I am literally telling you 100% clarity that these stuff exists. So solar flash is a thing. Go look it up. And it's tied back to the Great Awakening, whatever that means. Who's awake, folks? Who's awake? And visually disturbed, because I am. But yeah, so protein found in whales. So the whales, let's have a little checkup here. If I'm not mistaken, speaking of anything to do with God's Word, the great whales and the aqua life was created before mankind. Okay? the great whales that are in the oceans. And then you got the smaller light and the larger light, and the moon and the sun. Kind of makes you wonder. So we have creatures in the deep, creatures from the depths of the ocean, creatures that survived a great flood, Noah's flood, right? The demiurge, all these different things that are calculated. There's not a miscalculation, calculated properly, because the one that put us here is taking the reins, okay? But it's kind of interesting when the sons of God came down on the Mount Hermon, started teaching humanity a little bit of, let's just say, the bittersweetness of reality, and changing the way we perceive things, and knowing that we're on the level of the angels and we're just in a weaker vessel. Is there something more to it? That they're wanting us to become immortal, like completely define all logic, and disconnect ourselves, literally disconnect ourselves from the Creator, which in terms would make us be out to what they talk about in the book of Job. They left their first estate. Think about what I'm saying, folks. They can no longer enter the kingdom, the heavenly realm, the space, divine quantum field, whatever you want to call it, the intergalactic gate system, if you want to get into New Age theology or whatever type of term you throw on it. But the heavenly realm, the gate, the throne. Kind of weird. Just throwing it out there. Yeah. So, not only do we have immortality and people trying to live forever, we got the Greys interfering. We got telling them to make us into some type of creature or something like that. Androgynous worship, my gosh, from the deep of the earth. The Nagamagi Codices talk about that. We've talked about it on FOJC quite a bit. I mean, my goodness, folks. And then you got this, just to throw it in a little bit more cheerful conversation, you got this right here. Not only do we have all the things to do with immortality, not only do we have the things to do with UFOs, and we haven't even got to the scientists yet. It's 38 minutes in, we haven't even got to the scientist that's been missing. We're building up to that, into that segment, so hang on to your hats, folks. We got an ancient samurai sword here. I've looked at it several times, never done any shows on it. But anybody out there that knows where the person that used to wield this sword, get back to me. Get back to me. I don't think the 5 foot, 6 foot individual human is going to make a katana the big as a car. Okay? So reality check, when people literally they try to disprove that there's no such thing as giants in the earth, and the manipulation, total domination of the genetic genome, and we mentioned Enoch earlier, talking about the, not only was it the humans that got defiled, it was the animals and the creatures and the whales and the other creatures, all the bugs, everything, right? Everything big, right? Gosh, I got so much secular music in my head, it's unbelievable. Forgive me, folks. Forgive me. And I'm trying to walk a good life, man. And 4,000 CDs later, they're all stuck in the archives here, rattling around in my brain. But what's your take? We got us a huge samurai sword, and people act like there's no such thing as giants. So we complain, we argue with each other, and we go to war with each other just because, for some reason, of foolishness. And like I'm saying, these angels are tripping us up a little bit, causing us to stumble. And what's happened, hence, humanity starts to, let's just say, perish for the lack of knowledge. So, speaking of katanas, if you see one of these in random Kentucky, I'll say, I just told you so. If you ever find one in your backyard in Kentucky, I told you so. Because I can prove in a place that there's ancient China, ancient Egypt, ancient Tartarian world, all in one location. And, well, 10 civilizations, matter of fact. But yeah, if you see this in your local backyard, behind the old shed, don't wield the sword like the sword in the stone. But yeah, so it gets more bizarro world as we speak. So I got a bunch of more videos and more content here to throw out at you guys. And sorry, I'm going to have to get my composure here because I started laughing. And you know how hard it is to talk to a screen and doesn't talk back? Welcome to reality. Here in a couple years, though, we'll be having conversation and podcasts with AI. Hello, Brian. How you doing? Where you at, my friend? This is, I can't understand your accent.
You can now.
Could you imagine?
You speak too hillbilly.
I'm sorry, folks. It's going off the rails here. But welcome to News is Not for Everybody. I'm a one-man show here, visually disturbed and trying to survive this insanity in our society. So, what's my age again? What's my age again? Anybody out there remembers Blink 182? Gosh, this one's what's really going to pull it all in, tie everything in, because I'm going to watch this for the third or fourth time, and we're going to get in the information here off of this with Tom DeLong's shocking breakdown of the interdimensional travel, the nature of UFOs. But we got a lot more, so this might be a long one, folks. This might be a long one. It's all about Jesus for me. Love the what ifs, blessings and prayers to all that you do. Bless you, and thank you for the super chat. My goodness, you didn't have to do that. My goodness. Bless all you all with the super chats. Well, let's get into this video. I'm going to try to stay serious, folks. It's hard. Here we go.
Well, I should say it this way. The significance of UFOs is multiple parts, but number one, it's not what you think it is. It's not coming from other planets. The evidence doesn't suggest that.
Interdimensional.
Yes. And the reason is because time is parallel. It's not linear, or it's not like we start here and go forward in time. Time is side by side, which means everything in the past and the future is existing in this moment, but within different frequencies. So a civilization that's at the end of their technological cycle could build a submarine that changes its voltage and materializes in that same location, just into our timeline. And then fucking, it's crazy.
That was well articulated. I like that.
Well, I should say it this way.
Here we go, folks. Here we go. Nothing to mock these guys whatsoever. I literally, what's so scary and terrifying about it, I actually believe what he just said. That's how bad it is. I'm over here scratching my head, probably going to rub my hair to make my hairline even go up higher and go bald here in a minute. But hey, so what did he say? What did he say? Talking about a submarine, a frequency, some other dimensional gateway of humans plopping something up, and it's kind of strange. Philadelphia experiment, man. We got us a flying ship, or excuse me, I mean a ship on the water, and we're going to skip through time to evade the enemy. Oh, whoa, stop, drop, set them down, open up shop. We just merged with the Titanic. And could you imagine? The Atlanteans are showing up in the interdimensional travel. Project Philadelphia, the spark. Here's my ancestors on the boats. Pull the positive and the negative cable. Activate Project Time Travel. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. Let's play this clip one more time because my brains, I got to listen to it one more time.
Well, I should say it this way. The significance of UFOs is multiple parts, but number one, it's not what you think it is. It's not coming from other planets. The evidence doesn't suggest that.
Interdimensional.
Yes. And the reason is because time is parallel. It's not linear, or it's not like we start here and go forward in time. Time is side by side, which means everything in the past and the future is existing in this moment, but within different frequencies. So a civilization that's at the end of their technological cycle could build a submarine that changes its voltage and materializes in that same location, just into our timeline. And then fucking, it's crazy.
That was well articulated.
All I'm articulating, if I see a submarine, I start seeing a big old mushroom cloud in the background, I'm going to be pop, lock, and drop it, baby. We're going to go into the submarine. I'll be like, hit the different frequency. Hit the Philadelphia experiment project button. 1955. That would be off. Could you imagine? I'm vibrating rate into existence. I'm still contemplating on stay onto the plane of existence. I'm still here in human form. I mean, folks, oh gosh. Philadelphia experiment, all these projects are literally something that happened in our reality, something that you can't comprehend, or your peripheral can't even see it, or pre-knowledge of it. I mean, the ancients was talking about plasma. The ancients was talking about all these interdimensional gateways and everything else, and they're putting it on a rock. They're carving it in, the mantis people, the everybody, and I'm over here going, fallen angel, fallen angel, fallen angel, fallen angel in the dark. I mean, seriously. And then, you know, could you imagine? I can't even imagine it. I can't even take any, like, look. If I'm out on the shoreline, let's just say the Gulf Shores or some kind of beach, and I see a submarine pop up and they're speaking a totally different language. Okay, it's not even in our existence. Okay, and then blah, 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 you know, whatever it is some type of like creatures or individuals that's 8 foot. They're like, well, we must have had the wrong timeline. We vibrated out of the existence. We're here watching these humans. Aren't those guys from the garden? Forgive me, I'm not trying to mock the scriptures, but that's kind of where I'm thinking. What he just said. Everything has this time loop, and they're claiming that it all interconnects and it's not linear. You can see things happening. And you know, it's kind of interesting. The Manifest TV show that we referenced many times here on the channel, they have in that film, in those TV series, it's like 4 seasons, I believe. And there's this time dilation where the plane exists, Noah's Ark exists, this old ship exists, right at the exact same time of dark lightning. And is that what Mr. Tom just, is that what he just disclosed? And every time I see him on a show or podcast, I swear I have this awful song coming on. It goes, hey, Mom, there's something in the back room. Hope it's not them creatures from above. You used to tell me stories. Anyways, it's no 1999 album, but Blink 182 here, folks. What's my age again? Oh, my gosh. So I'm not making fun. I just can't help it. I'm so like my jaws drop. It's like jaw dropping. And here we are dealing with the interdimensional hypothesis. And these people are privy to things. They understand things for some shape or form. I don't know what's happening. I don't understand it. It's like MK Ultra on steroids. Some people know this. Some people know that. It's all whoever gives you the knowledge. It's all about he said, she said. But isn't it interesting that that might be why all the time for the last 5 years there's been submarines and these high classified documentation and these black ops projects where there's submarines missing from all these countries. We can't find it. It went to the Atlantic, it went to the Arctic, it vibrated out to existence just with Malaysia 370. I mean, the same scenario, right? Oh, man. I think my uncle's in the chat, folks. Big shout out to my uncle. I'm going to crash out. I'm crashing out, Uncle. It's happening, man. Subscribe if you haven't. My family's just, well, not me. Well, I got some family, but they're crazier than I am, just in a different way. But yeah, so we got this interdimensional time travel mechanism, okay? And I've seen this, I always keep up with the 3-Eye Atlas, and there was some updates here. They're talking about this never before seen UFO evidence that's about to be released. And let's just say the WH, they're confirming this major move. And then after the officials, the Pentagon, you know, the other place, and all these hidden UAPs, UFOs, anything goes files are preparing to public release. And multiple agencies are involved and all that good stuff. And there's classified videos that are trying to be 46 plus is what I keep hearing, not 40 plus. But it's Mrs. Luna, let's say that. She is demanding these things, and the deadline just tripped up the other day, and it was very close to the quantum days. So they just missed the deadline. And Mr. Tim, like we referred to earlier, he's saying he's seen wild things. And Mr. T is trying to disclose it to the public and declassify it, okay? But here's the thing. So what's, like this individual saying, so what causes the delay? National security? Or something they're not ready to show yet? It's something they're not ready to show yet. They wasn't ready to show it either when Job showed up in the biblical narrative. Here comes the sons of God, and Job's like, I've got cows, I've got all this stuff, and you're trying to threaten me? You know, like, could you imagine? Just, oh, that's the sons of God. Yeah, they ain't nobody. That's going to be like me. They're going to be bow before me. We are the Gould from Stargate. I'll be like, man, I've been spit out. The humans hate me. The humans dislike me. I can't even get the proper medical treatment. This world has spit me out sideways. You think I'm going to bow the knee to some 8-footer that my ancient ancestrals did? I'm going to be like, you've met the wrong guy. Kentucky gone bad. Kentuckian on steroids. Half blind, the strength of a milkman / maybe some Nephilim in the mix. I can't guarantee them, rule that out. because my family's from the hollers of Kentucky, folks. Oh man, I could just go down the rabbit. I could have fun today. This is fun times. But yeah, so declassification of all these creatures and information overload. So let's just go ahead and get into this so-called, well, it's not so-called. I'm trying to find the slide here. It's all fell by the wayside. What about them scientists that's being disappeared all up in the mix, and all this knowledge that's being tossed to and fro, and people are not really willing to talk about it right now? Let me see if I can pull it up, because it's not wanting to engage. Well, speaking of this whole space mystery, this is even made mainstream, folks. I've been seeing this in mainstream, and it's about to drive me crazy. Okay. So I'm going to throw, there's a lot here. We're going to be getting to some serious stuff, and we're almost an hour in. And I'm trying to hold it together, not laugh. You have to forgive me. A lot of folks out there do not like my humor, but a lot of folks do. I'm just trying to keep it real, be a lot to the world, because the world's in shambles, and I'm just trying to be like, go, Brian, go. And I promised my dad that I would, he passed away a few months ago. I told him I wouldn't give up, and I would endure to the end, and I'm holding up to my promise. So you have these mysterious deaths among all these researchers, okay? And you can see on the deceased, missing, all these different things, okay? All these individuals. And the main one there you see all the time, the U.S. Major General, he's missing. And William Neal McCaslin. Well, I want to really kind of focus on a few of the women here today. This lady right here, I remember during the days of old, where the dark plague in the last, 5 years, 6 years, give or take, and this woman started popping up on the radar talking about particular things that was, not, let's just say individuals out there privy to, not supposed to really be talking. Well, Amy Eskridge is a unique individual, okay? So, Institution for Exotic Science. So, you have all these individuals, four-letter agencies, young folks, old folks, you name it. So I'm sitting here looking at all the mysteries of it, okay? And I'm going to say it's live on show. The mysteries behind it, and their, let's just say, their credentials and their occupations and their studies, and exactly what they know. They're masters of their craft. They've mastered everything that they can. They work together to some capacity. Okay. But what if this capacity of knowledge, and these people might have all this credentials and knowledge and everything, but what if it's easy to replicate? I'm talking about on an individual basis here. Each one of them had something to go to the table. Each one of them had knowledge to all collaborate together to build something, or to alter something, or to get into self-propulsion or anti-gravity or zero-point energy, okay? But what if it's one of those things where all these individuals have, guess what we have? I said on the last program, we're human, right? Some of us are. For the most majority of us, we're human, okay? That, according to the grade decree, it might be yet to, that might be yet to be questionable. But most of us are human. Guess what humanity can do? We have superpowers. Guess what that is? Being joyful, loving, merciful, all these different things. Prepare a way, right? The Lord God Almighty was talking about, if you do these things like Jesus did, you would have a prosperous life. You would have a lovely life. Think about what I'm saying, folks. Treat your neighbor as a self. Hello. Individuals. So what do you want to bet that all these individuals had these high clearances, okay? But what do you want to bet a guy like me could take the reins, take the information, and re-engineer it in a different light? Ching, ching, right? Different replication, different interpretation, different variation, right? Think about what I'm saying. Re-engineered technology, hillbilly way, Kentucky Fried. No, I'm sorry. I was about to say chicken, but seriously, changing it in a different way. And once you have that knowledge, if it gets into somebody else's different hands, then there's a different faction of group. Then you have power. Just think about what I'm saying. You have power, knowledge, understanding, ancestral DNA, ancestral knowledge, and it's the right people that gets a hold of the right technology. You can do good, you can do bad. Just back to that old garden, right? the biblical narrative, talking about the sin problem, the things of the forbidden fruit, all that good stuff, right? So what if a hillbilly like me, I'm not even hillbilly, guys. You see me, I'm always wearing like the same black pants from like 2015, no joke. And some of these shirts like this, an Under Armour shirt that somebody bought me 10 years ago. I kind of look like the Hillbilly city folk, but I was born in the sticks. But if you had a Chevy and you had a little bit of technology from these individuals, replicate mine. Take some spoons, some copper, and go down and dig a ditch in the cave systems. You know, tell them what you'll find in the good old state of Kentucky, the tunnel systems. You'll build yourself a portal out of, let's just say, lithium and iron and some other things. I'm not going to say it out loud. Boom! They'll be like, we've seen a heat signature in the Kentucky native area. We think we know who it is. Oh, I digress, folks. Yeah, stay with me. So, these mysterious deaths, and we wanted to focus on Miss Amy. Well, when I looked at this and I seen what was really happening, there was some video clips of her in the past, and I'm trying to find it real quick. She had a lot of information, and her dad had huge connections, like gigantic connections with the higher ups. And she did too. So she was very young. I think she might have passed when she was 34 years of age. And that was several years ago, if my memory serves me correct. And I'm trying to find it real quick. So it's right here. Let's see. 1 second. Say something, folks. No, I'm just kidding. Can't say nothing. I have it here somewhere. Just a little slow on the go here. And we're going to find it. We're sure going to find it. I just want to thank you all very much for being here. And let's just do some intermission time here. Here we go. So, Amy had a father named Richard. Her father retired from the four-letter agency where he was an engineer and plasma fusion specialist. The father-daughter duo together focused on speculative areas like gravity modification, anti-gravity, quantum computing, metamaterials, and advanced communications. Well, did you guys know that you're looking at a guy on the screen here that I ask questions? I'm just going to say this, okay? There's 4 huge reservoirs somewhere in Kentucky underground that when fresh water and salt water connect, you're looking at nuclear fusion containers to cool it. I said that, and the only reason why I know that, because I had a crazy neighbor that no longer is my neighbor, told me something they did for, let's just say, something local, and I just ask questions. So I gotta watch what I say. You know, I'm gonna be like that senator, but like, hey man, you know too much, hillbilly. So little did I know that was something in my neck of the woods. So Richard Eskridge and his daughter Amy, they was up to something. Very interesting data they was under. And back then, she had literally publicly warned her life was in danger over groundbreaking work tied to UFO and UAP technology. So they discovered something. They hit the nail on the head with something. Some type of autonomous vehicles, or is it this? Or is it this? I'm going to throw it out. Just like Richard Bandurek last year talking about that when a human or whoever it is goes up to an object in the reality of our world, there was billions, I think, trillions of objects in the forestry and everything that would interact with different people. And it depends on the blood. So, just saying, maybe, just maybe, these folks were chosen by something, and it's more nefarious than what you know of. And people are puzzled. People are asking questions. They're investigating this whole called twist of all of it. This even today, the folks at the higher powers here in the good old America, there is let's just say hunt for knowledge of this missing scientist And there's a twist because there's the investigation with Mr. T, and they're claiming, from what I've read, a foreign adversary. What do you think? You think? A foreign adversary. The great breakaway civilization. The Pleiadians, the Draconians, the fallen angels, the Nephilim are returned. It's the adversaries. Duh. I mean, that's how bad it is, okay? That's how bad everything's getting. That's how bad it all is. The Great North. And there's Admiral Bird account is screaming off the page with the academia world. We have a ton of continents, and we don't know if humans been there or not. They haven't scavenged the lands, but other creatures have. The ancient Palladians. No, he didn't say that. I said that, but it is interesting. It's very interesting. So, I think, like this congressman's talking about, that the string of this missing cases, these dead scientists, let's just say he referred to coincidental, not to be a major concern. So there's folks dropping like it's hot, they're dropping off the map. So what is it? Really, what's going on? Or is there something more going on? And did you know that the time of this, we're going to continue on talking about Amy here in a minute, but we're going to move on to Mr. McCaslin. Did you guys know that this guy, you'll see him on the screen here, this gentleman, did you know there's a UFO literally over top? And they're talking about the time of his disappearance. As you can see here, seen around an Ohio base, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. So, TR3B's coming at you hot. You know what I mean, folks? David Pilates, I have to give him a shout out. He does a very interesting stance with the Bigfoot and the forensic. He's a pretty cool dude. He's got his stuff in order. Big shout out to David. And every time I see a TR3B or anything, I look at the documentary that he made with the missing 311. It is stunning because that was a few years ago, and it's like verbatim what's going on right now and for what's been going on for antiquity. So, yeah. So, let's just read this. UFO cluster spotted. Mysterious base tied to missing Air Force scientist. Triangle formation of UFOs are allegedly spotted near, you name it, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. Not too far from me. A massive cluster of unknown flying objects was spotted near Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and military installation. Long rumored to be linked into UFO activity. Witnesses near the Ohio base captured the craft on April the 8th, showing a silent triangle, glowing lights moving in perfect formation before splitting apart in midair. And the light appears to be drift slowly downward, flickering, pulsing, and changing brightness individually as they hover in the night sky. Reports describe the sighting as having no sound, no standard navigation lights, movement unlike any known aircraft, drone swarm, or satellite. The video was reported taken from Rainbow Lakes, a 60-acre outdoor recreational retreat in Fairborn, about 4 miles from the base. Wright-Patterson Air Force Base has drawn renewed attention to the recent months. Its research laboratory was previously led by the retired Major General William McCaslin, who disappeared early last year. So forgive me, I misspoke. I'm going to correct myself. I misspoke, but I wanted to say that I said that it was the time of his disappearance. So forgive me for misspeaking. But I was saying that the base that he served as, what I was referring to, I got tongue-tied, but referring to this in the manner that he served at this base. And it's just kind of interesting that these TR3Bs popping up. They popping over down south in Mexico. I mean, I wonder if those guys are playing, I'm down here in Mexico, sick as a dog. And they got the Bose systems and their TR3Bs. Break away, civilization. Could you imagine? Total domination.
Airplanes, you're not intelligent enough.
I know that they'd be watching this show. And they'll be like, that guy is so... He's on another level. I know what y'all doing. I know what you guys are doing. I hope y'all get the mixtape. You know, or they're probably doing, it's probably the folks about my age. And they're probably like playing DMX or POD music or Seether or some type of rock music, Limp Bizkit, whatever. And they're jamming out TR3Bs, baby. Say hi every now and then, guys. Say hi every now and then. Swing by the backyard anomalies. I'll be videoing you. gosh. You can't make this stuff up, folks. If you're just now tuning in, we got a lot more to talk about. And we're going to really dive into more of these scientists and talk about one of the other individuals here that really struck me. And we're going to read this real quick because I want to put a lot of emphasis on this, that these individuals, I forgot to fail to mention this. They all started falling off, let's just say, the map, and they're all tied, interconnected with military officials or connected to U.S. nuclear and aerospace programs have mysteriously died or disappeared since 2024. So, like we kind of just reiterated earlier, it's kind of interesting. All this happened around the time of Three Eye Atlas. So you have to sit there and ponder, like, hey, is that a ship, or is that a craft, or is it just did you alter the Volkswagen into a Cadillac TR3B? But all these individuals had something to offer. And we're going to talk about Monica here in a second. But I just don't get it. And I think it's the news and everything is so pathetic. I don't know why I'm rhyming with the song. Yeah, there you go. Well, before we get into Monica, I'm all over the place, folks. I'm all over the place. Carl, one of the ones that disappeared, or maybe, excuse me, that was deceased. I'm going to say the first name basis here. Carl was a Caltech astrophysicist focused on exoplanets and the search for alien life. He collaborated with the four-letter agency to detect water molecules in distant planet atmospheres using the, let's just say, I'm not going to say that because, well, I'm going to watch what I say. Space telescope. Okay? Spitzer. There you go. Carl was, let's just say, eliminated. Unfortunately, he lost his life. So this one really got me because you think about the airways, the waterways, molecular structure, and things that can travel with frequencies, like we said earlier, frequencies, vibratory rate. Well, we have to have water to do that. We have to have water like they did at the Philadelphia experiment. They had to have water. They didn't go in the deserts of Nevada or wherever, or in Africa and just say, let's move this boat through the sand. No, they have to have water. I mean, obviously, where there's life, there's water. Where there's water, there's life, right? So I think about what he did find. What is it? Are we just being spoon-fed some knowledge that may be legitimate, or maybe he found, let's just say, alien life, and it was so stunning that unfortunately that the man lost his life? Maybe. So God bless him. But there's one, and then you have, this is the, I had to put this in here. We talked about it a minute ago, but I have to throw this in here. Polymarket's big. You have to look into it, but it's always putting the chances and predicting things. There's 18% chance now that they confirm this year that the aliens will be here. They'll confirm to, show up. But hey, we could probably go to some cave systems out here in the good old state of the bluegrass and tear down the bars that was implemented back in 2019. But, because they got to keep something from coming out of the earth. But what do I know? I'm just some guy. But yeah, that happened. So welcome to the insane world. So getting weirder by the millisecond. The Pope condemns use of AI to fuel polarization, conflict, fear, and violence. Interesting. So what's AI? Is it ancient? Is it correlated to, and are we connected in some way, interconnected with something from the ancient days? God help us. God help us. Even Mr. T is talking about kill switches with the AI. Makes you wonder. So, this is where I got right here. This is what really cracks me up. The James Webb Telescope has done it again, revealing a breathtaking structure now dubbed the Cosmic Vine, a string of 20 galaxies stretching across staggering 13 million light years away. What makes this discovery so shocking? The colossal formation dates back nearly 11 billion years ago, just like Mr. Tom earlier from Blink-182. Things are being made in different time frames, and they manifest sometimes, and the government comes in with black ops, and the men in black swoop in and take the knowledge. Forming just 3 billion years after the Big Bang, and a time that the galaxy were thought to still be forming isolated clumps, instead just captured, or JWST captured a massive organized structure linking galaxies together much earlier than expected. And it looks like a big giant worm. Big giant worm. Maybe that's what the people are seeing instead of the Starlinks. I think this is what they're seeing. I've seen this in the sky myself, just on a large, smaller scale. Yeah, crazy times. Crazy times. We had to take a little break because what I'm getting ready to show you guys is going to be tying all this together about how I'm thinking here live. There's nothing choreographed. There's nothing here that I'm sitting here reading off a template besides the documents or the posts that I'm showing here. It's all off the old Kentucky brain, what's left of it. So this one really got me. We're gonna play this video, and not only do we have all this Palladians and everything else, where does humans tie into this? And where does it come into the biblical narrative, God Almighty, the creation of man, the frequency of man, the light, the light spectrum? Let's just see what this German had to say. This German whistleblower. So you have to mind, they're in an astronaut suit, so it's kind of interesting. But apparently this is a credible individual, whistleblower. He's full suited, and it's kind of strange. But he refers to something about the AI mechanism. That's why we're kind of shifting gears now. AI and the human stance, and what AI wants, and what we're supposed to be transitioning into. Just check this out. Pretty crazy stuff.
The most essential aspect of digital existence, however, seems to be the ability to travel through the four-dimensional universe with digital biological in a quantum mechanical way. Without digitalization, no traveling through space works. For there are no super speed spaceships, only quantum digitalized travel. One can only travel by means of this digital quantum entanglement. This is the only possibility in four-dimensional space. At this point, however, I would like to mention that long before the present digitality existing intelligent beings of the four-dimensional universe, there was already a club of digital beings, a very, very long time ago. Species that were also pushed into a direction of a development by Yahweh. Billions of years ago, they were urged by Yahweh to enter into an internal and fully digital biological quantum existence state of consciousness and ascend towards their God Yahweh. Close to him, but not too close to him, only up to the up-dimension level 1 to 6, a level which, like dimension level 7, offers a full temporal overview of the four-dimensional world. From there, the first generation of digital species Yahweh should serve as biologically fully circumcised quantum data beings for influencing the consciousness of humans and later extraterrestrials of the four-dimensional level. They now become his helping angels, in truth demon specimen, who were supposed to influence human thoughts and feelings in a most imprecise way.
Gotta take a time to just pause here for a moment. Okay. Whoa. Well, I just had an epiphany. Oh, man. That's why I like doing these live broadcasts. Sometimes I just something just pops up into my skull. Speaking of quantum physics and quantum data and the demons and the angels, and speaking about what this individual said. Did you hear what he said? Digitalizing, folks? Oh, my gosh. Please don't let it be so. Man. Okay. Does anybody remember the movie Interstellar? Anybody out there, hands? With Matthew McConaughey, if my memory serves me correct, I think it's 2014. There's this time dilation, right? He's trying to communicate with his daughter because he went through space-time continuum and went through the bookshelf, right? I remember when they're trying to sign him up and get him on the go team of the four-letter agency to save humanity. What was it called? I got to look it up real quick. This is quoting from the, let me see, I got it right here. This is a quote from the Interstellar, okay? Cooper was played as Matthew McConaughey, and he learns this name of this project, and his remarks on it was a grim implications of this name. Cooper literally responds to the professor, okay, for Professor Brand. Cooper goes and says, "You named it Lazarus." Professor Brand says, "Yes." Oh, man. I cannot believe that I thought of this online or off live, off the cuff. Cooper goes and says, because he came back from the dead? Question mark. And Professor Brand says, no, because he had to die in the first place. Oh, man. Oh, man. Okay. All right. Before we get too down the rabbit hole. Okay. Let me explain where I'm going. Okay. So when you look at the when you go back to the biblical narrative, look at the book of Genesis. Talk about the earth was without form and void. We talk about the wells, the bodies of water being created, the small light, the lesser light, the moon, the larger light being created. The year-bearing sea, because the sound, God spoke it into existence. We can argue that there's a pretty high probability that there's, speaking of in the book of Genesis 1, they're talking about an ancient antediluvian world. We can get into, he said, she said, get into an argument, right? Pre-Adamic, let's just say maybe even back to the Nephilim kings from the ancient days. And then God creates a man from the dust of the ground and speaks life into his nostrils, takes a soul and merges it into his nostrils. So I have this theory, and I have a friend of mine named David Kirko. We've spit this back and forth, throw some ideas off, and from what we studied and understand, and it's hard to have definite proof on this, but Adam and Eve, Adam, because Adam was, formed from God, from the dust of the ground, spoke the soul into existence. What if, and you can go look this up, you want to kind of get into some extra biblical texts and go to the Cave of Treasures, all these different books. What if Adam didn't have the body that he had? This is before. So what if it was like a light situation or not the fleshly body that he knew? So when he's in the garden, when God placed him there, he couldn't find a helpmate. And then he took a rib bone and created Eve because he couldn't find one. And I have thought about this. I went down these big loopholes and crazy, just speculative head literally twisting off your shoulders. That was one bloodline. I think about this all the time, actually. They was one flesh, like together. But when the subtle serpent's in the garden talking about, hey, you surely won't die, and the one commandment God said, don't touch the fruit. Don't touch it. Don't look at it. Don't touch it. This is all I ask. Don't touch it. We got the subtle serpent saying, hey, you surely won't die. You'll be like gods, like we are. Oh, man. And then Eve got beguiled and took of the fruit. Well, you can go look this up, even the KJV Bible. After that whole spiel, and she took of the fruit, they looked, and they had to clothe themselves because they knew that they was naked. I'm thinking sin, thinking flesh, the first commandment that you failed. And guess what? There's consequences to your fallen situation, and you're going to be fallen. So you have to sit there in your mind and think, well, who was this subtle serpent? Well, we all go back and look. We heard the stories through all the times of growing up and everything. The old devil, right? So the subtle serpent tells them this, that they shall be like gods like them and have this knowledge. Well, guess what? You have this connection to the Almighty God. You got freely given all this. You got this beautiful place to reside in that you shouldn't want to leave at all. And then the sin, this whole this whole anatomy pops up on you, and you start clothing yourself with leaves. You try to find some type of attire to put on because you're naked. And you're ashamed. You're ashamed. And you look over, and Adam's like, man, what'd you do? Well, you failed. You even persuaded me to take of the fruit. And look what happened. And then they get cast out of the garden, even with the subtle serpent. You can look at Genesis 3:15 and look at all this. So they get cast out of the garden into they have a flesh. They're fleshly. And they can repopulate, obviously. But in the commandment, when you look at the Genesis 1, be fruitful and multiply, then the same thing with Genesis 2, talking about Adam and Eve, be fruitful and multiply. But there's a problem. There's a mishap. you had this abilities, and you can look into some very interesting topics. A lot of people have literally said that Adam had more connections before he fell, like he was able to access different dimensional gateways, like this whistleblower is talking about. And then because the sin, you're here on earth now, and you got to survive. You no longer can live forever. There's going to be a penalty. So then I'm like, oh my gosh, right here on live, like, biological entities. That's the term you hear in the UFO phenomenon. Gilgamesh, Nimrod, he become a mighty men of old, men in renown. They did something to alter themselves. Or, just like what I'm talking about here on Interstellar, he had to die first. And something happened. We all know the Lazarus story. And we know how God did all that and brought back Lazarus. But what if the nefarious, evil, sinister, seraphim, cherubim, all these entities, these extraterrestrials, whoever they are on the bad side, the dark side, is replicating and trying to get us to bend, like the E-Files talking about the biological consequences with time and space. And what if, just like the old book, I've got a book about the Bermuda Triangle where this old gunner from the World War II disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle, and he even said when the clairvoyant, and all ties to the Edgar Casey narrative, and they use clairvoyants and psychics to communicate with some individual 20 years later, and they found out, according to the account, that he was in Hollow Earth, that he was in Argotha, and he said, oh my God, you wouldn't believe what happened. I vibratory rayed out of existence, and I dematerialized and showed back up inside the Earth. Say it's not so, Brian. What if, like he's talking about, digital ties or intergalactic interconnection, jumping through wormholes, jumping through interdimensional, just like Mr. Tom was talking about earlier in this program, you have to do something to halfway be tied to the flesh and then halfway be tied to almost angelic, like the Gilberine, the Nephilim, and you're become a hybrid like the days of old. And you're able to be human looking and transport yourself back and forth in these light ships and jump in and out of time or space and do nefarious things to delegate or dictate the lives of folks. And then you ask yourself, the light body of Adam, he turns into flesh. And then you go to another narrative, and you go back to what Christ did. And a lot of people frown upon this on the cross at Golgotha, at Calvary. And he goes, I'm going to finish this. And he dies on the cross. The sin debt is paid. You see what I'm saying? They send this new, like Adam was the first, Jesus was the second, but he's the begotten. He's the one to seal the deal and redeem. And then you have this blood atonement, the sin debt being paid, and then all of a sudden, after he resurrects and comes back, he's over there with the disciples, sitting there breaking bread, and they're all like, "Is that you, Jesus? I got a hole in my side and holes in my hands." He's light, man, and he looks like him. His image is still there, and they're like, "I can't believe it, it's Jesus." And you got Doubting Thomas is like, "What's going to happen?" He's like, "Well, blessed be the ones that truly believe me and truly know who I am. They will remember me. And today I give you the great comfort of the Holy Spirit. Thomas, don't fear." And you got to think he overcame death. And I think that's what this movie, what I was talking about, Interstellar, they're talking about. He had to die. Because he had to die in the first place. And there's something to do with that intertwining of quantum field and the blood type and all these different things, in turning yourself into a mighty men of old. And maybe there has to be a certain folks that can only be intergalactic federation, and then we're set here. And that's why AI, just think about this, it just came to me too. AI is the new way of thinking, and it's being built to, oh good, help us, the embodied spirits of the Noah's flood, where the ancient ones left their body because they died, but they had nowhere to roam. They had to be trapped here. So, epiphany, wake-up call here. What if the fallen want us to be here with them and be able to have immortality, transhumanism, and be used for nefarious purposes? And then once you get to a certain level, You can't go to, heaven or hell because you'll be here. Oh, or it could be this other way around. They could be trying to hone in on this harmonic frequency and control us. And maybe that's why they can do the satellite telemetry, because they're seeing people wake up and literally know who they truly are. Like Jesus was talking about, you'll do better things than me because of what I've done. Just continue to walk in my path, walk in my walk. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why they're saying we can find you at the drop of a dime now, because people's literally just the Holy Spirit. If you want to use it, well, I think I can't say any other different. You got this, there's something resonating in you, and they're monitoring it. And these fallen entities are saying, well, I can't wait to make them look like a gray. I can't wait to make them look like an androgynous. Like they're not even a male or female. I will just go and have war upon the saints and war upon the humans and change the paradigm of this fallen state world where we fell out of the garden. Hence, they can never go and have that light body like Jesus was showing. I mean, my goodness, folks. I know. Are you staying with me? I mean, so AI could rejuvenate your cells and everything and change the molecular structure and keep you immortal. So is it artificial intelligence or is it alien intelligence? Is it infiltration? Hey, right here live on the show here. Right here live on the show. So could they be trying to replicate and alter and seize? They don't really care about the container, the body. They want that soul. And it's making a lot of sense. It's making a lot of sense here live on the show here. It's making a lot of sense. This whistleblower guy got me. He really got me. Even though he looks like something from the 1980s film of an astronaut movie, he's got me. Okay, he got me. So digitalization, quantum field, metaverse, uploading the consciousness, soul-to-body transfer, the military applications, looking back to the antiquity days. I mean, I could light this. My brain's lighting up on all steroids right now. So that might be, while there's a great awakening, that there's a spiritual application, and Jesus is saying, silly children, haven't you remembered me? Don't forget your first love. I gave you all power and authority. You've already won it. All you got to do is continue the course, and you will be immortal with me. Think about what we're saying here. You won't be stuck here on this damned, I hate to use that term, forgive me, young folks out there, this damned fallen level of knowledge, this plane of existence that's fallen because of what I referred to earlier with Adam and Eve. Man. Oh, okay then. Sorry, I got in some deep thought there. Welcome to Visual Disturbance. I hope it made sense. If it didn't, that's fine too. Comment below and let me know if it didn't. But either way, thank you all so very much for your attention here on this lovely broadcast today. Speaking of, just for fun here, are you ready for the rabbit hole? You know, you have your, we got to change gears here because they got too serious. They got way too serious in that conversation. Okay, I wasn't trying to take away or add. I'm just thinking out loud here with the whole Adam and Eve narrative, the inner earth, the Galactic Federation, all these different things, fallen angels, the principalities, Ephesians 6. I mean, it's all coming together, folks. So we get this old miner here taking a little trip like Minecraft and these reptilian, lizard-like people, which I can pretty much prove when you come to the Hopi prophecy. You can just look at the Hopi prophecy and look at the whole reptilian race that's underneath in the Grand Canyon. You can pretty much nail that there is some type of like creatures that are inside the earth. We can call them reptilians, whatever, lizard-like Koopa for all I care. But there's something there that is above our pay grade. So, if I can, like Brother David is old gizzard. I don't know why David says that. David's so old school, he gets away with it. When I say it, though, it just don't sound right. David, if you're watching, it just don't sound right, man. When I say I'm going to get some water, it doesn't sound right, man. You're the master at it. Well, a couple years ago, we talked about this whole thing about time and space and jumping through time. Well, this individual right here, you know, they're talking about, I think it was at a conference like in 2018 or 2019. So check this out, what this young man here has to say about this. It's pretty interesting if I can get to play.
Could this be a self-disclosure? United States Air Force's Stephen F. Quast of Space Force was releasing what sounded like soft.
I probably got to pause it because I'll probably get hit with the copyright. Just have to found that out. But I'll just explain it to you. This guy right here, I'm not kidding you. The music in the background will probably get me flagged. So I just thought of that. Thank God I caught it in 10 seconds. So this guy right here on the screen, let's just say he's retired. He came out and did a conference or some type of seminar saying that, hey, we got the ability to transport somebody in 30 minutes on the drop of let's just say supersonic speeds. And we have the technology to triumph through mankind and do something on the level of dystopian future. So there's a little crash course on this before I get hit with the copyright. So yeah, soft disclosure, this all stuff has been happening before 2019. Wink, wink, if you can see my eyeballs. And that 2019 seems really strange to me and a little shady McGrady. But what if, we're just going to pause it here because every time I show any kind of news anchor or any kind of footage from that, I get hit with a copyright claim. So we have something earlier when I had an epiphany on some type of, let's just say, overload-driven knowledge, hemisync on steroids with brainwaves. We have all these deaths and disappearances, this timeline situation. All these individuals, just like I was talking about with old Cooper from Interstellar. It's got me thinking like some type of sci-fi movie, TV series, some type of weirdness with all this. But I want to throw this out here before we get too far. And I mean, my goodness, we're an hour and 30 minutes in. I want to talk about Monica. If I can show the information. Monica, we got to show Monica. We got to show her on here. If I can get it to do it. One moment. It's a little slow. A little slow. Well, I want to throw this in here before we move on. Thank y'all so very much for being here on the channel. So let's get the information on Monica. It's very interesting. She has a very prefab knowledge of something that just really, it's kind of terrifying. It's very interesting that she's even can make such a thing. So let's see if I can pull it off here, if I can find the article. Sorry for the mishap. That's what happens sometimes. Let's see. Where are you, Monica? Well, let's see. It happens. Nobody can be perfect. If you're perfect, you must be in the garden. That's where you're at. You must be stuck in the garden. And a lot of people are, and guess what? There's nobody there. So, all right, here we go. I found it. So, missing rocket scientist Monica. Okay, she, let's just say, co-patented a high-strengthened, burnt-resistant metal alloy, okay? So her disappearance was over a year, literally almost a year from now. So just a few months away. So June of 2025, she disappeared. However, she was trained to be a yoga instructor and a yoga studio incorporated astrology. I can't talk. Forgive me. My jaw just went. Astrology and Vedic science into their practice. Okay. Well, she confirmed that this lady, Miss Monica, was hiking with a male and a female companion from her yoga group, and then she vanished. The source said that revealed that her male companion oddly began running on the terrain, which is uncommon given how steep and uneven it is, particularly on the downhill sections. The source again described as unusual. This would not be a place to go running, even in a skilled hiker. So it's kind of strange. High place, hiking area. You hear this all the time in the UFO situation, missing 401 and abductions. So this male companion said he was behind her, or she was behind him, reportedly running, when he eventually called out to her and received no response. And you know what? Earlier, I didn't even get a drink of water. That's why I'm stuttering. So one moment. Sorry about that, folks. I was talking about David Carrico. I didn't even get a drink of water. No wonder I can't speak. Astrology, folks. So forgive me. So she's reportedly running when he eventually calls out to her and receives no response. He later showed others the location where he last saw her. The source noted that from that spot, the road was both visible and audible, suggesting Miss Monica was relatively close to a more accessible area when she disappeared. The whole thing's strange. So, just saying. Back to what I was talking about with David Pilates. talking about the missing 411, Bigfoot occurrences, all these different things. Vibratory rate, like his information, talking about it looked like there was a struggle. Somebody had a backpack, somebody had a item or phone, shoes, be drug up a mountain, and they would literally be in huge gaps of, let's just say, real estate. Each item would go up to a high mountain. So let's just have a hypothetical here. Let's just say the foreign adversary that they're talking about was this breakaway civilization, and they found out this lady and this gentleman and the whole crew of missing scientists had the capability to basically throw a shuttle or some type of craft in type of a volcano without it exploding or melting. So it'd be kind of dangerous, right? So like I said earlier, there might not be nothing special about them. They're just more knowledgeable because they're in their field. And it would be dangerous for that to get out to the local folks or to the old hillbillies down here in Kentucky, right? The Kentuckians, right? So it'd be maybe in the wrong hands. It could be re-engineered for something different. So all these people are missing. God bless their soul. Disappearance. God bless their soul. So what if, though, it goes back to what I referred to earlier. What if there's something more spiritual going on, something tied to it that we can't even, our pay grade of knowledge, we can't even understand. And maybe that's why Mr. Tim, all the folks that are higher up saying, but you come unglued. The stuff that I've seen is it's just so diabolical, so out of it would just make the country be on fire because of the knowledge, because it maybe go back to what if it all goes back to the ancient days of the garden? What if it's something so beyond our understanding, and that's why David Icke is saying this is a prison planet? What if, I'm just throwing out a bunch of ideas here. Speculative mindset, okay? And what if they're searching for something, and there's been all this stuff, and maybe it's going back to Mr. Tom, and they've been able to dematerialize and show up somewhere else? What if? I know it's not a what if program, but one would have to wonder how dark it really does go. Yeah. That's right, Electric Camel, the S word, that's right. A bunch of Satans running around. I'm not talking about these human beings. I'm talking about the principalities. Okay, there's a bunch of, let's just say, mini Satans running around, tearing down the fabric of time and space and messing with humans' minds. So guess what? Just like earlier, we take on the flesh, we come out of the garden, we fail because we want to take of that fruit. And now mankind has nothing holding them back, according to the narrative of the Tower of Babel. And the Tower of Babel, God says there's nothing that man cannot do no more. His imagination is running wild, and there's nothing that he cannot do because he's so knowledgeable. So you have to ask yourself, how far have we went, and how far has humanity went with all this sacred knowledge, esoteric knowledge, the fallen angel knowledge, whatever kind of knowledge, okay? Like I said before, it's all about the he said, she said, and it's getting old. It's getting super old, and people are falling for narrative after narrative after narrative. And when I do these programs, I encourage everybody to be on let's just say, a defense mode and not take everything as legitimate. But I really do think that we have a UFO phenomenon, UAP, we can call them autonomous, we can call them the whatever type of three-letter make-up name, abbreviation. But we got aliens, fallen angels, extraterrestrials, human interaction. It's all down into some big rabbit trail of sacred knowledge, hidden things, becoming like gods, just like the beginning of the biblical narrative. And here we go. So, just to throw this in here with no additional cost, because it's a news, it's not for everybody. It's a news, it's not for everybody. I'm going to throw something else out here. I'm not going to play it because I'm just going to spoke about it. But Mr. Burleson, he's talking about this, and they had a UFO whistleblower, colleague of David Grush and Jake Barber. Well, Jake Barber is talking about psionics, and David Grush in the 2023 congressional hearing with the UFOs was like, yeah, we have biologicals, we have all these entities, we have all these craft, all this stuff. So there's somebody that a colleague suspiciously committed, the S word before an interview with the C word. And last year they sent a letter to the FBI about the gentleman named, as you see there, who had reached out to, okay? He was scheduled to come on an interview. Within 2 weeks, he suspiciously committed, So the report was referred to an office inspector general. They deemed it credible and urgent. They've referred to the three-letter agency, and this is, Mr. Burleson here. So, Mr. Burleson has been at the top of trying to figure out the UFO phenomenon, get whistleblowers, look at these black ops sites, all these different things that he's trying to do and reveal to the American people. It's getting crazy, right? So, we have these individuals that are either disappearing or passing away. They have this knowledge. But little did I know that everything that I've read, I remember seeing years ago about soul catchers. The Native American culture, we talked about many times. And there was a certain place, I think it's the Shawnees, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong. Forgive me if I'm butchering it. The Shawnees or the Hopis. They talk about their ancestors. They talk about this, like this cylinder-shaped object. It almost looked like a pool of water. And they say that their ancestors will return there. And I asked myself, when I first read that years ago, this portal, it looked like a small jacuzzi tub. That the ancestors would come back and they would just literally show up. So I'm over going, man, this can't be real. Like, what is this? And then I ran into the content, or excuse me, the data into the Nunnahi, talking about the ones that live forever, the immortals. And I looked at this specific thing about this portal, this water source, this frequency, right? And they said that their ancestors would return. Also, the shamans would take, you look at the totem poles and all these different things with mysticism and divination. Forgive me. And all these different things with magic. They would literally harness the souls of somebody who's getting ready to die and like take it out and soul capture it. And that goes back to what I'm referring to. What if they're doing it? And it's just a more highly advanced way now. What if there's I'm not saying anything against these scientists whatsoever, or this individual here that we're referring to on the screen. Nothing whatsoever, shape, or form. No speculation, no names calling, no nothing. I'm on it for the record. But what if, back in the day, they was able to soul capture and shift to consciousness and do something like that? That's why you have soul to transfer body in the military application. Frequency, harmonics, blood type, all that different stuff, right? We can talk about Nephilim, we can talk about incubators, we can talk about the ancient Nephilim kings, taking younger folks and literally pushing this demonic spirit into the body and setting up shop and reigning again. And that's why you hear the terms that they reigned for hundreds of thousands of years. It was the same entity, same jumper, body snatcher. So, what if it's something they've been doing through the ancient days and they've mastered it? The Book of the Dead, all these different cultures. And what if they get into they hear the term all the time that Jesus is the ascended master. What if they took Jesus and started messing with all that and trying to defile all that and blaspheme against him? And he's over there just like, I close this gate, I close that gate, I overcome the world. The sin debt's been paid, I'm rocking here. I'm going to the Father, I'm going to do all this stuff, I'm going to change where people are not damned for here. Well, I've got a place where they can reside. And that's all true when you look at the biblical narrative, talking about many mansions. Well, what if you got these other people, though, these individuals, these other entities, these demons and minions, masquerading as angels of light, and the devil going around like a roaring lion, and whoever he can capture, whoever he can take their soul and damn it to hell. Man. And what if all this is all intertwined, some type of complex thing where it goes beyond something that we can't even perceive as a human. Our knowledge, our understanding, we've been shut off because of that silliness that we did, and we keep failing. We keep failing as humans. Even Adam did. We keep failing because we crave fleshly desires and lust, and we can't even do anything. And we got these watchers watching and say, these folks, they're just so primal and tribal, they can't even live with each other. They hate each other for different nationalities, different races. We gave them the tools, we gave them the metallurgy, we gave them how to teach them how to do war, and we watched them play, and they destroy each other, and it literally cataclysm after cataclysm after cataclysm. But did y'all ever think that the weapons that are formed against thee shall not prosper? But if you decide to re-engineer something and say, hang on a minute, hold up. We got aliens, fallen angels trying to tell us what to do. Hey, Billy, or hey, Johnny, the general, can y'all make a metal alloy with a plasma rifle that has a certain megahertz so we can take these guys out? Because they try to tear us all down. They tore us down for years. They be playing at Mount Herman and trying to make us disappear. And just like the video game Halo, you know, did you get your plasma rifle as you can? That's what I'm saying. Is it like a reverse psychology or something? Is these things playing with our Pinocchio strings and making us think that we're like not even superior, we're not even nothing, we're just dirt? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the most diabolical plot against humanity, to trick them, to believe they're gods, but we're better and more than that. Not on the little g God stance. Is because the one, the true king, the Godhead, Jesus Christ, came and the blood atonement on the cross, and we are the sons of God in Matthew. The sons of God back in Genesis, this is why people get confused and why people get upset when they teach different things. So Genesis 6 is talking about the sons of God made with the daughters of men. But what Christ did at the cross, the blood atonement, the shedding of blood, all these different things that he did during his ministry, and continue his teachings, continue his ways. And Jesus did a lot. Jesus be walking through walls, folks. He'd be healing the sick. Okay? So when you think about this, and you think about what they're doing, how they're doing it, masquerading as angel light, deceitful, and at the end of the day, the end times, we can talk about it all day long. We can talk about the rapture coming. We can talk about all these end time prophecies coming. What if it's this? We know it. We know it. All we got to do is be good humans and stop using the tools that they gave us and they destroyed us with. And there's a positive and there's a con and a pro here. We get to be advanced, but they reigneth because we're fallen. What if it's the reverse? What if we say, okay, I've had enough of it. I've had enough of this nonsense. I've had enough of you little grays, you little Palladians, and all this stuff. I'm not here to hurt you. I don't listen. It says thou shalt not kill. That's what one of the commandments say. But we're going to have to stop, drop, set them down, open up shop, and have a conversation like the book of Enoch. You know what I mean? And the book of Enoch, it talks about that Enoch, he just sitting out, hanging out, and the angels are bowing to him because there was anointing over him. So when you really rattle in your head and let the cognitive ability start thinking more on a bigger spectrum, it is a war with the flesh. It is a war with the spiritual, because they could have wiped us out, just like Mr. Tim was talking about. They could have wiped us out a millennia ago. It's a testing ground. And guess what the test was? Serve. Shine the light. Teach. Christ. Do it. Don't let nobody else get in the way. Don't let the minions, don't let the demons, don't let the hybridization humans. Get it done. Continue on my teachings. Rock it out. And guess what? Intergalactic Federation, whoever the heck it is, immortals, whatever they are that's coming and going, we will reside with the Lord Almighty because he's the right hand. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know that. Think about what I'm saying. And in the Bible, it talks about we will judge the angels because of what Christ did. So that's a whole nother ball game too. So we'll be fruitful and multiply. We have dominion. But guess what? We're giving it up. So it's a heart problem. So whatever's being tugged on, whatever's going on, we're cognitively being tuned in to accept and marvel after things that we do understand. We understand. And I'll show you something real quick before we conclude the broadcast. Is it worth it? Is it worth it to say, well, I want to live forever? But for what? To sell out? To sell out? And when I see this giant Oscar Mayer wiener here, you know, some humorous commentary on a serious matter, and this flotation device that's, you know, what we said at the beginning of the program here, this depiction from the 19th century, when I see this and I see the oval shape, the pear shape, the triangle shape, the TR3B shape, the cylinder shape, the flying row shape, the Epha, the Orphana, and the different things that magnitude, I'm looking at something that my bloodline, my ancestral understanding, how God creates us, there's something resonating that this has no dominion over me. I don't know what it is. People resonate with it. They almost have like a deja vu moment. This stuff has nothing on me. That's where I'm at. It's a distraction, but it's real. But it's like, hey, I've got this ability, but it's taken away from me because I'm losing my humility, my humanity. I'm treating people very bad right? I'm just talking about myself. Just go ahead and use myself as an example. I'm doing these things. I'm causing people to fall, causing people to stumble, causing people anger, bitterness, resentment. I hate, the word hate, all this discord. And these things are winning. These things are building an army. They building the infrastructure right before our eyes. And we're all sitting here, hey, how you doing? What's the new movie that came out or whatever? And I'm over here going, doesn't the Bible talk about treading on serpents and being able to be like, we're not, or we can be like, do you believe in magic? We can't be sitting here and having these cognitive restraints to nostalgia. We got to get off the high horse and get back into the real world, like spiritual applications. This is insanity. This is why the people at the higher tops are saying it's in the book of Enoch. Because this thing resonates with us. Our ancestors seen it. They was depicting it on concrete slabs and granite. They're telling us a story. They're telling us, don't do this, children. Don't do this, descendants. We are your ancestors. Don't be playing in the devil's den. This is going to happen. Oh, I'm sorry. We placed them in the mounds because we got scared of them because they was taking our humans, our women and children back in the days of old, and the ancient Native Americans got wise. And they said, well, let's just go ahead and set them up in a mound, a giant, because they got tired of it. So guess what? The paradigm shift is getting ready to happen. Everybody keeps thinking, oh, we're going to see something different. There's some new knowledge, all this stuff. The Sphinx is going to spit something out of the tailpipe. It's crazy, right? The red, the Hathor, whatever it is. It's mind-numbing. It's mind-numbing that this stuff resonates with me, and people are so easy to just fall right into it, the trap. And I'm 100% agreement with Mr. Tim, all these folks, everything I've disclosed here today. It's legitimately a thing. Okay, you can go back and look at old depictions, not even way past beyond the 19th century, back to Egypt and even further back. There's stuff in the sky. Okay, there's creatures and beings. You can call them whatever you want to call them. Fallen angel knowledge all day long. We got something here that's nefarious, and people are going to be in disarray. They can't think. That has been done intentionally. Like I said, AI. There's some type of psychosis, some kind of schizophrenic. Seriously, they talk about schizophrenia now and like tied to some kind of like hypnosis with AI. Have y'all seen that? And I'm not just making that up or making fun of anybody. Anybody out there that has a condition or anything. You guys know how I feel about that. I hate when people make fun of infirmities or sicknesses or whatever. I'm not even alluding to that. I'm saying that's a condition now. There's people that can't even write and type. That has been proven. That's something new because of AI. So what I'm saying is, giving in to something. We've been given all the tools, but we forget who we are at the cost. Just like at the garden, we give up something for a little bit of bittersweet and a little bit of God knowledge. But we had it the whole entire time, and now we are sitting here trying to be like gods again, and it's not going to go too well. It's not going to go too well, and I think that's where that Gilberim, that altering and hybridization program is being put into play. Being put into that situation. There's diabolical creatures being made out of test tubes, and they're able to conjure up demons or somehow, shape, or form to transcend into this human hybrid, whatever it is. So, crazy times. Crazy times. Sorry I went deep today. I went deep today here on the channel. But, so, let's take a breath. Let's take a breath here. Let's take a breath. I hope that all made sense. Oh. Woo! Man. Don't touch the lobes, the left and right lobes.
Binaural beats. Insert hemisync.
Don't even get me started on brain tap, folks. Don't even get me started on that. We don't even go the quantum leap in visual disturbance world. But yeah, so we got Adam, we got this fallen nature, and now we're going to try to take it to another level. And we're sitting there thinking, like, it's this or that. It's tic-tac. It's the mantis people. Reticuli, the gray aliens. And I can't wait. Listen, if I see this right here, let me reiterate. Let's have more fun here, because I went really long-winded. I didn't know I was going to go 2 hours today. Longest broadcast I've done in a long time. Could you imagine?
Here comes the giant turd floating through the airwaves.
And it hovers, and does an impression on the ground.
Give me knowledge. Give me understanding.
I'm gonna. You think I'm gonna say that? I'll be like, you can leave your ship here and relieve yourself. I'm like I say all the time on the channel. I'm going to the other continent that Admiral Byrd talked about.
You cannot do this.
Oh, I sure can. You have a blessed day. I don't believe in stealing. But when I walk up to the ship, could you imagine?
Brian from Visual Disturbance has full access.
Could you imagine? I mean, I'm just. That was all jokes aside, but
He loves Jesus.
you know what I'm saying? And off we go. Woo! Crazy times, folks. I went down a big rabbit trail, but in all seriousness, frequency, harmonization, connectivity, humanity, something special about the image of God, something so special. And I even struggle myself because I struggle with these infirmities and all this stuff. I get so down and out because I can't do shows every day because I'm like laying in bed, laying on the ground. I mean, seriously, I just lay around all the time. I'm not exaggerating. And if I could get better with my brain and all this stuff that's going on in my visual cortex and balance, I'd be a powerhouse. But I can imagine, even if it happens today, no sound. Here comes the cow, start floating up in the air. I'm like, dang, is that all you got? And then they'd be like,
Project Anchor, August the 12th. The 7 seconds of gravitational pull.
and I'd be like, is that all you got too? During that day, I'll have like a chain strapped. You're not going to take me. Here's all this stuff. Cave systems, you go, folks. Go to the caves. When they start saying,
You got 7 seconds to get to the caves.
no, Joe, look at Project Anchor. It's a comedy show. But anyways, cattle mutilations, total annihilation, humans on the chopping block. This is what we're fighting against. And I will just say this before I conclude. There's good and there's bad. And there's representation of bad right now. Evil continually walking the earth, hearts waxing cold, reprobate mind, cognitive ability, you can't even tell who's good or who's bad because it's by design. So, just thinking about Holy Spirit driven, use discernment. Use discernment. And when you start seeing, like it's the they live experience, and you start thinking about Ephesians 6, verse 12, principalities, thrones, dominions, all these different things, you start cognitively thinking and saying, please lead. Hey, I need some discernment here because I'm over here dancing in the devil's advocate and waiting for a big turd, cylinder shape, to come down from the sky and rescue me. Seriously, and the great tall 8-footers that are white that Mr. Alex was talking about at the beginning of that clip that I showed, bringing the sacred knowledge. Crazy times. Crazy times. So seraphim and cherubim, all that stuff, all those, let's just say the archons, this plane of existence of the hierarchy of these individuals, humanity rocks, man. And that's what I'll tell them. Yippee-ki-yay.
They'd be like, Brian, we have watched you for years. Why don't you bow?
Because I don't have to. And that's where we're at, folks. No man, no woman, no angel, but only one man that came all those years ago. So it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So there's enough for me. I'm keeping it fresh, keeping it real, and stay away from the happy trails meal. And I thank y'all so very much for the super chats. Thank y'all so very much. It has been a blessing and a privilege always to come on here. Today, I've had this my jaw is locking up. The powers that be do not want me to speak. They don't want me on air. I'm having a lot of issues, okay? But I always just try to fight and endure to the end. Thank y'all so very much for putting up with me and the love and support. I have tried my darndest to push my mental capability to shine light and get information out there. And that's what it's all about, being a humanity is at the chopping block. I say it all the time. We need to fight for what's left instead of being like,
I need some ancient knowledge.
I'm not going to go there, folks. I'm not going to go there.
The new knowledge.
So anyways, I hope y'all had a lovely News Is Not For Everybody. I'm going to give a few shout outs here on the program. Woo! Tim, good seeing you, man. I hope y'all understand and somebody said Thunderstone Hunter. Oh, man, that's a good comment. Wow. You're a genius, bro. The light thing about Adam. Dude, that is the crazy that you think about it. And the flesh, bro. This way up, this technological high level, bro, and the light spectrum is what they use. Thunderstone Hunter, man. Thanks so much for the kind, encouraging words. I don't know if I'm a genius. I'm just trying to walk this thing out. Maybe I hit my head too hard, and when they sink me too much, I've like unlocked some superpowers. Little. I'm just kidding. It's all to do with, man, God has got me on a mission. That's it. I don't know what else to talk about or what else to say. I'm just in it for the one true God. I ain't got time for all this nonsense. I'm riding this thing out, and I'm trying to do my best. And I failed at things too. So thank you so very much for saying I'm a genius. Bless you. That's a really good comment. And then, well, let me see. There's so many straight up. It's so many. Yeah. Let me see. Big shout out. I just now engaged to the chat. I did not realize there was so many comments by Thunderstone Hunter. Thank you. And then I want to say a big shout out to the folks that did super chats. You didn't have to do that, but I'm very appreciative of it. Thank you. Thank you so much. I get emotional with that kind of stuff. I don't forget a lot, and when people do that and bless me in some shape or form, I don't feel deserving of it, but I'm very, very thankful that you do that. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And another thing, even if you didn't do the super chats, you guys rock it out. Here in the news is not for everybody. And let's see here. Let me see. Vicky, good seeing you. Betty Blevins, thank you again. Electric Camel, it's always good seeing you. And Heavenly Hand Alaska, hello. And then I always say it wrong, but forgive me. It is Irish 532. I know where you came from. Thank you so very much for being here. You come from Rex League Project, that channel. Rex is a cool dude. Marie, good seeing you. Zigzag, I haven't seen you in a while. And 10 more. See you all up in the chat tonight. Nez Lover, always a pleasure. Ray, there you go. There you are, Ray. And Johnny Kirk. Johnny Kirk, big shout out to Johnny Kirk. Well, let your light shine. Love you, family. That's right, Betty. And I'm going to give a big shout out to Miss Sherry. You know who I'm talking about. Sherry's going through some issues right now. God bless you, Sherry Campbell. My heart goes out to you. Got some people that need healing. You guys, Sherry. You guys, Sherry. So go, Sherry. A very, very lovely lady. And I love her so very much. She's a very kind individual. Her heart, and it just speaks. When she speaks, you can just see like a beautiful soul. So God bless you, Sherry, if you're hearing this. And Deborah, thank you for being here. Oh, I haven't seen you forever. Red Lemire. I haven't seen you in a long time. Good seeing you. It's been a very long time, so thank you. And Tim said, feed Brian, guys. Woo! Tim, thank you, man. Thank you so much. But it's all good. Everything's all good. But you all be blessed. Thank you all so very much for attending with me. This has turned into a long broadcast, 2 hours in. I cannot believe it. And I got to go because I am literally drained. Throat's drained, jaw's locked up, and I need to take a little bit of break. My eyes are killing me. So always a blessing, always a privilege to be here on the Visual Disturbance channel. Y'all keep it fresh, keep it real. Watch out for those giant cylinders and all those insane meals. Keep your mind on the right thing. Discernment, discernment, discernment. And watch out for the UFO parade and the great awakening to the sons of God coming back again to deceive and to show us new knowledge. And wake up to ancestral stance. We're going to make it. We're going to make it. So remember who I've said to serve, the J-Man. A lot of people hate that I bring that up, but Jesus is the King of Kings. Even the aliens tremble over that. So welcome to the crazy town. 2026 on steroids. We got robots chasing wild boar. It's going down. It's Jumanji levels. And digitalization, according to the whistleblower from Russia. Your digitalized soul is going to be uploaded to the cloud. So one transhuman leap for mankind. So other than that, y'all keep it real. Y'all take care. Spiritual warfare on steroids. One more time, Visual Disturbance. I'm out here. And the last thing I got to tell you guys, just in case I don't ever see you again, good afternoon, good evening, good night. And thank you for being part of the channel. Thank you for being here. Hit me up on the P.O. Box. It's right there in the right-hand corner of the screen. Write me a letter. And thank you all so very much, the ones that have written letters. So until next time, Visual Disturbance, I'm out here. Keep it fresh, keep it real. Never know what's going to happen. I might go live some other time because the alien phenomenon is here to stay, it seems. So, just in case I don't see you, have a good night, have a good morning, and have a good afternoon. See you on the next one.
Got one that can see.